What would be funny if you fell on your ass? That would be funny.
Bleep Jerry. Go ahead, Tyler.
I'm not bleeping anything. I'm not using this. Sit down in your chair.
I gotta pee. Come on. I gotta freaking pee so bad.
It would be
Sit-
funny if you peed his
hurry,
pants.
hurry up and do the intro. Hurry up. I look like Jesus. Hold on. I gotta pee.
Intro now.
This week on Positively Godless, we're going to talk about why we're here.
I can't wait to see his face when he comes back.
Crazy! Over under, feeling crazy! It was no wonder, you're just making me crazy!
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Positively Godless. I am your host this week, Tyler Sulander, along with Jess Jerry and Scott Lawrence. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, Tyler. How are you?
Better.
Well, I'm feeling wonderful.
If you
Jerry's-
guys watch to the very, very end of the episodes, maybe you'll get our jokes. Instead of watching the first 2.5 minutes. But I love you all.
How's everybody doing?
We're good.
Good.
Good. How did we feel about episode 4?
I don't know. I thought it was good.
I thought it was good.
But
But then I'm a little narcissistic.
yeah, no, I thought it was really, really good.
Not as much as him.
I'm not narcissistic. I'm trying to be positive because apparently I am not as positive as I'd like to be.
As you'd like to be.
Or as I just naturally am. I'm positively positive. Hey, just real quick, letting you guys know that we are a PG show. And I just realized today at work that, oh my gosh, PG also means positively godless. That's freaking cool. I know. Isn't that crazy? So we got a comment.
Okay, Poindexter.
Yeah, don't get so close to me if you're not feeling
What?
mind blown.
I can't even speak.
So we do have a comment. This came on my personal Facebook wall for a friend of mine from high school. We'll call him Jeremy because that's his first name. Who said, "I am a Christian who disagrees with most of the grief in religion that bothers you. It's fear tactics. It's fear tactics brought on by power mongers. I don't think Jesus walked on earth in the name of that crap either. He did not like religion. He liked giving and being kind. He gets the fist bump and prayer in my dinner table for that." So that's our comment for the week. Thank you, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
And I like how people who are believers who feel that way of when you have the extreme people saying, "Oh, you're damned to hell, you're just a worthless piece of crap unless you go with my side, go with my team." There's people out there who believe in God, and that's fantastic that they do that because they believe in God, they live their lives, and they're not saying you're a bad person because of it. I know this guy fairly well. He doesn't think I'm a bad guy because I disbelieve in the deity that he believes in, and neither should anybody else. So,
I mean, that's the whole. Sorry, I don't want to cut you
Go
off.
ahead. No,
Go
go ahead.
Tyler all the time, but that's the reason.
So anyway,
I think that that's the reason that we're doing this is because there are extremists in everywhere. I mean, and if we refer back to episode 2, when we talked about, the teacher in the memorial and how we got mad at the extremists basically on our side, So, I mean, I've had interactions with a few people that, are in the same boat, like as Jeremy. They think that there are extremists and they recognize that they're not, and they hate is a strong word. They dislike that those groups saying that we represent whatever it is and take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happens everywhere,
Tyler, you have any
Absolutely.
comment?
No. Well, I was going to say just a couple of things real quick. We had on our email thread that we had a article come through that I responded to, and I'm actually going to save that. We're not going to talk about that tonight because I do. Extremism is a topic all on its own that I want to have a conversation about, and I would love to have a believer on the show that shares kind of our point of view, but from a believer side, where the extremist side of things tarnishes a lot of what they believe. But going back, and so we'll get into that at another time. Going back to one other comment that came in on our YouTube page, and to go back to Scott's wonderful introduction about us being a PG show, a positively godless show, because they're the same thing.
You heard it. So weird.
Yeah, so weird. This comes from our good friend Headcase71 on YouTube. The comment that he left here, I do not, this is in regards to last week's episode. I do not believe there are any gods or goddesses, but if I'm wrong, and there is a loving God, then I don't have anything to worry about. A loving God could not be willing to torture someone for all eternity, no matter how bad they were. If there is a God and he wants to torture me forever, at least I'll know that I'm more moral than God while I roast for eternity. So, that, going back to our eternal threat conversation from last week. But then the other part that he threw in there afterwards, Tyler, what is it with the PG stuff? I know YouTube does not make you censor your show, and I'm trying to understand why you feel the need to do so. And I don't.
I don't know, Tyler. I don't know if you just saw Scott's face or not, but
I didn't. I'll see it when I'm editing. The biggest thing is, ultimately, we're trying to be positive here, and I really want to just try and put out shows that anybody can watch. And I do understand that frustrations come up, and Jerry, I haven't known you as long, but Scott and I are notorious at having potty mouths. And
I'm not as potty mouth as you are, though. You F-bomb it, I never do.
I wouldn't say never, but I've heard you throw around an F-bomb.
Well, when I get mad, lots of things come out of my mouth that if my mom ever heard me say, she would be embarrassed to say she was my mom.
Sure, absolutely. And I do. I get very frustrated and I get very animated about things, and I do tend to have mouth like a sailor, and just things will start coming out. But ultimately, when we look back on this, whether this goes on for another couple months or several years down the road, I want someday down the road, when my kid is 12, 13, 14 years old and they're coming into their own, to be able to turn this on and to be able to watch things, to watch it and not, I'm not saying that this has to be a family show, and I definitely want to cover hard-hitting topics, and there's going to be controversy, and there's going to be things where maybe we're not the most positive people in the world, but the whole goal of doing this is that we're not just automatically jumping to the extreme, because that's not the type of people that we are. So, again, I'm not, it's not that I'm totally opposed to the swearing and everything has to be PG. I want to make it, I guess, somewhat a family show. So, I don't know how else to describe it.
Well, and let me kind of just do a little bit extra. We're on episode 5, and the cursing thing came along in episode 1, where I said a curse word and Jerry said, "Oh, you should bleep that out," and then it got to be freaking hilarious, where I would throw something out there and who knows what censor sound that Tyler would put on there. So now it just got to be funny, where we take serious issues, but if I say a curse word, pardon me, it's funny. Then it kind of breaks that seriousness of, oh, there's a fart noise there, or there's a whistle there, or whatever it is. I think it's hilarious. So I want to make the show at least informative with serious topics, but also have a little bit of humor in it, just to kind of break that tension of it. That's my take.
And it doesn't hurt that I'm gay.
And he's gay.
No, and I totally agree. A whole part of this, for me, has just been to be able to get things out in the open that I don't really talk to a whole lot of people about, especially besides you, Scott. I mean, a couple other people in my life, but I want to have fun with it.
I don't know how you and I got on the subject of it either. That's kind of interesting too.
Yeah, we could maybe revisit that at some point. I don't know, but yeah, the whole thing too is I absolutely want to have fun with this, and yes, we're gonna get into heated discussions about things, especially if we, once we start getting guests on the show. And
can I cut you off there real quick? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. In 2 weeks, we're going to have a guest on, and it's an evangelical Christian. So if you have questions, and please make them good questions, don't be just asking random questions. We've got a bunch of good questions thus far, which are fantastic that the guys haven't seen yet, but I have. We're going to ask him some questions. We're going to try to treat him with the best respect possible. We all know this guy. We've heard his radio show. His name is Paul Ridgway. He's agreed to be on. So that's going to be a very interesting episode. I'm going to try to.
You haven't, by the way, if you haven't heard it and you just want some more information, you can go to am980themission.com and you can get more information about his show. There are also links to all the shows. You can listen to some of it as well. Maybe, Scott, you could find an episode or two that have gotten us fired up in the past, and we could put those into show notes as links and whatnot. But yeah, if for those of you who are not in the Minneapolis area and have not heard the show, if you want to get some backstory on it, you can go from that route.
Yep, and the show wouldn't be complete without hey, Gavin. That's my son. He watches the show.
Word.
Word. So, without further
15
ado,
minutes in this time.
without further ado, also email us at positivelygodless@gmail.com, facebook.com/positivelygodless.
And at
Twitter.com.
Godless.
At pgodless.
Did you say queer.com?
Twitter.
Jeez.
I don't know. Maybe Jerry had his own link.
Jerry, can you look into that? See if we can
Queer.com?
see if we can get our presence out there.
I'm pretty sure queer.com is taken.
Well, no, I'm not saying to register it.
No, register it. The episode's going to be good when he snorts. Before. Yeah.
Let me see.
All right, so our topic this week is going to be kind of a free-flowing, open forum topic, and if you guys segue into something else or you have a question that pops up, go ahead and bring it up as well. But the topic is going to be, why are we here? And it's not going to be why are we, as in the three of us here and doing that. It's why are we as the human race on this planet? What are we doing here? Theists believe that we were created and we were by an almighty being and placed here on this earth, and we were made in his image, and that we are here to serve, in the case of Christianity, the Lord Jesus Christ and all that kind of stuff. But as atheists, why are we here? What do you think about what happens? I mean, afterlife, after we're done here, does it bother you to think that that's it, it's over? Just a little backstory leading into this topic. Last night, I was up at about 2 in the morning with my infant, who managed to cover his entire crib in throw up. It was fantastic. It was just all over the place. 2 in the morning, we're taking off his clothes, taking the bed covers out, all that kind of stuff, getting him down to the wash, trying to get him cleaned up and get him back to bed. And I went back to bed after laying him back down, and laying there thinking, as I do, I go through these phases where I will just be laying in bed, and it's almost always at nighttime while I'm trying to fall asleep. And I just started thinking to myself about taking care of this 1-year-old infant, and how brand new to the world that he is, and how someday he's going to be my age, and I'm going to be 30 years older, and someday he's going to have kids who will then be my age, and I mean, hopefully I would still be around to see that. But it's one of those instances where your mind starts to wander from things to things, and I think about the legacy that I pass off onto my kids, and what am I doing here? Is it just from the aspect of that human evolution, and we're just here, we pass on our lineage, and then away we go? And it's just one of those things that I constantly think about. And I remember when I was going to church and I thought of myself as a believer, and I thought of these things, and I thought, oh yeah, if I die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to take, things like that. And I found a lot of comfort in it. And I don't want to say that, like, now I get scared by thinking about it. It's more of like, just kind of that uneasy feeling, even though I accept it as it is, just thinking about that stuff sometimes gets to me. So I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to chime in on that aspect, but that's kind of where this topic came from last night into this morning.
I've thought about death and what happens after we die, and do we come back as something else or someone else? Do we have a soul or a spirit that haunts people, or do we have, even if we have control over that, because that's another thing that's never been proven, the whole spirit world and all that stuff. But I've thought about it. I actually, where I kind of stand, as I think eventually one day the human race is going to be extinct like any other species that came before us, the dinosaurs or whatever. I think that the earth that we live on has not found a species that it wants to keep in mass. Something changes, they do something that, sorry Tyler, you might have to bleep this, pisses the earth off.
We could say piss.
But if you think about it, I mean, the dinosaurs, they did something that made the earth mad, and the earth said, screw you guys, I'm going home. and with people, with humans, I think that's eventually going to happen. It may not happen in our lifetime. It may not happen in, the next generation or even the generation after that. But if they don't get their act together, it's going to happen.
Do you
You
think
know,
that it's going to be something that is going to be a natural disaster of sort, or do you think that it's going to be? I mean, a lot of people think that we are going to be the cause of our own
I think
extinction.
we are. I
Do you know the day
absolutely
of the hour?
100% no, I am not Nostradamus.
Let me take a minute.
But I think humans are going to be the cause of their extinction. I mean, the cars we drive, the things that we throw away, everything that we do, we're so selfish and we take and take and take and we don't give back. And, it's been going on for a long time. Scientists have been saying that we have to find a way to renew our resources because they're going to run out. They're going to run out. And then what's going to happen? We're all just going to die. And the earth is going to regenerate itself. The only thing that's truly living is the earth itself. And that's just what I believe.
Have you guys seen the? I think it was either Discovery Channel or History Channel series. It's like After Man, or like I can't remember. Yeah, shoot, I'm gonna have to look this up. Um,
But could they kind of like predict like what's going to happen when humans are gone?
um, no, let me look this up. Scott, do you have anything to say?
No, no.
What?
I'm just kidding. Not really. I mean, I don't know. This is such a loaded topic that we can tackle this many many ways and consider ourselves getting off topic, which we're notorious at doing. Why are we here? Um, we're here because we're here to hopefully serve others and serve mankind and be kind to one another, and that's kind of what I want to do, even though I maybe not come across that way in my attitude. But the ultimate thing is to be kind to one another. If people are married and they have kids, and they be kind to their spouses, and they create a world for their children so they can carry on the life that you existed before them. There's so much stuff I want to tackle. I don't even know where to begin because this is such a broad topic.
Okay, well, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt here. Life After People
Yeah.
is the name of the show. It was on
I found
the
it on
History
Wikipedia.
Channel. Yep. That's what I'm looking at too here. And the program does not speculate on how humanity may disappear, but it's a really fascinating show that goes through, like, this is basically what the Earth would like 10 years after people. If we were all to just vanish for whatever reason, this is what things would look like after 10 years. This is what things would look like after 100, and just how the Earth would basically reclaim itself and kind of start back from scratch as far as the vegetation and the cycles of weather and all of that kind of stuff, because of how resilient it is, which, unless you believe that the world is only 6,000 years old, is pretty intriguing, to me, at least. I guess to kind of focus in on this a little bit, because Scott, you seem a little out of sorts with the broadness of the topic. But
no, I'm not out of sorts. I just want to make sure that we kind of stay on topic because we tend to do that. So go on.
Sure. No, to kind of to hone in on it a little bit. To ask both of you, do you guys view yourself, or at one point in your life, did you view yourself as a believer?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's fine.
I didn't mean to play Family Feud, like hit the button first, but
it was a one-word answer, really. I mean, if you want to elaborate.
Can we elaborate, or just...
It's just not that simple. I mean, I tried. I don't know that I don't know that there's a point in my life that I ever truly felt that I could believe. It just was all so confusing, and like I said, I think in last week's episode, it was just so many contradictions, and my brain doesn't work that way. I tried a lot. I tried on multiple occasions. I couldn't make it stick.
Scott?
I have a lot to say.
Go for it.
I remember in high school, there's a festival in Wilmer, Minnesota called Sunshine. And yes, it's spelled S-O-N, shine. Tyler, you may be familiar with it.
Now, who's in charge of recruiting that?
Well, I was involved in a youth group back in school. and this is a topic I know Tyler and I have talked offline about.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, it was
But
actually
I totally forgot to tell you guys that I drove past a church on Highway 5, and the sign outside said, upcoming forecast, God is raining, as in R-E-I-G-H.
We got it.
And
We're not idiots.
the sun is shining.
S-O-N.
So cute.
Oh.
So cute. God is raining
Sorry.
and the sun is shining.
I forgot where I was now. Anyway.
So cute.
God, you were
All right.
talking to
Sunshine Festival.
The Sunshine Festival. Yeah, so I was involved in the youth group back when I was in high school. So I went to the whole Sunshine Fest, and Tyler and I have talked about this online about music and the power of music, and that's something I really want to tackle, the power of music, because Christian, and I'm getting a little off topic, and I don't care, because to me, Christian music has a really, really good way of manipulating your mind. If you listen to not just a Michael W. Smith pop album, but if you listen to the worship album, there's some fantastic stuff in there. I mean, that will make you going, wow, this is really powerful. If you're a musician, you'll understand what I'm saying with the crescendos and the decrescendos and everything kind of coming to a hush, and you just hear the people singing along. That's pretty darn powerful. That's not where I'm going. And then I remember the youth group took a big bus trip, and I was listening to a Chicago record. And Tyler, Chicago was a band that's full of horns. And someone kind of mocked me for listening to Chicago. And yes, Tyler, I have to do that because he doesn't know much. He's never seen Rocky. And so I did the altar call. I did the whole thing of, thinking that I was being saved or I was getting the Holy Spirit. And it was pretty powerful. But when you start looking back, it's a lot of manipulation by a lot of people. I'll just feel it. Just feel it. And then you got the music. It's all emotion. You get so caught up in it. So, I'm going to probably pick on both of you. So forgive me for doing that. So it's no different than you, Jerry, going to a Mariah concert and like, oh my gosh, her presence, or Tyler, you going to a David Matthews concert and feeling, come around here and say hi. Of just feeling the power of music, or me going to a Prince show, it's all kind of manipulation. Right now, my wife is looking over my laptop as I'm going through this little diatribe. So that's what do you guys got to say about that? So I can stop.
Look, I love Mariah Carey. I love me some MC.
Oh, wow.
I've never been felt manipulated by her music.
No,
and
I don't say manipulate.
I'm not.
That's wrong.
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
I know that if I ever was at a concert or if I was in the same room with her, I would probably be speechless. And for me to be speechless is just be like, is almost impossible. And I don't even know how I would react. And I mean, I guess I get what you're saying, because her music has moved me so much throughout my life, and listening over and over again and finding new things that is you don't find the first time you listen or the second time you listen, and like, so I get what you're saying, but I just never ever could feel what other people have felt, or at least what they looked like they felt when they were trying to receive or be saved or whatever it is that was going on, and they're, you know, with their hands up in the air and cry. I never felt that, and I always felt uncomfortable seeing that.
Do
Sure,
you think that if Mariah was a Christian singer, you would be influenced to accept Jesus into your heart?
Wow.
Probably not, because
She'd be Amy Grant.
I don't know that I would have sought out her music the way I do. You know,
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say
only
way I seek
seek
out Keith
out
Murray's music.
right. I only seek out music that speaks to me because it's, you know, for whatever reason how I'm feeling, or you know what I want to feel, or if it's just like, you know, I mean, I listen to Mariah Carey. Sometimes, you know, if I listen to my music on shuffle, it'll play Mariah Carey, then it'll play Garth Brooks, then it'll play Luciano Pavarotti, then it'll go to Marilyn Manson, then it'll go to Judy Garland, you know, but none of them ever made that type of music. And I don't have any of that, you know, any artist, you know, that type of music. For example, Vince Gill, he sings with Amy Grant. They're married. They've been married for 100 years now. He used to be very big in the country music scene.
Yeah, I love Vince Gill.
And when he stopped,
I do.
there was a couple albums of his that I had, but when he stopped making the music he made and crossed over, not saying that it was bad, whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat, I couldn't be a fan anymore, and I couldn't listen to that his music anymore. He's got mad talent. He's got mad talent.
No. Back up though, because you're making an interesting point that I want to make sure I tackle. You said that you can't listen to his music anymore, so that means that you can't listen to the past stuff he's done
Oh
prior.
no,
Okay,
I can definitely.
I just want to
listen
make sure I
that.
clarify that, because
Yeah,
that makes it sound like, oh, he's a Christian now. Screw him.
No,
I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
no,
I just want to
not
make
like
sure.
that. No, I can't listen to the
Sir.
new Christian whatever stuff that he does.
Okay.
You know, he just lost me when he made that crossover.
Sure.
You know, there were some artists that crossed over from one genre to another, like say country to pop, lost me. You know,
Like
or
who?
vice
Do you
versa.
have any examples of anyone
Well,
who went from country?
I wasn't a fan of
to
hers
pop?
when she was country music anyway, so it doesn't matter that she crossed over to pop.
I like country stuff. I want to add one more thing, and I'll let Tyler go on. I remember during that altar call I was talking about when I did in Steubenville, Ohio. We took the bus. I was, you know, flustered and probably in tears and stuff like that. I remember my youth minister, who I felt really close to, and I didn't know why at the time. He felt he was close to me, or whatever it is. I didn't know why at the time. He came up to me and put his hand on my shoulder and says, "He works." Come to find out, he's now in one of the heads of the Gay Men's Chorus. My youth minister. So people can be saved, Jerry.
Yeah, I would say he was safe.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm applauding you.
So,
I had no hand in it, but thank you anyway.
Or on it.
you mean that wasn't a part of your agenda?
Yeah,
Right.
no.
To
There it
recruit?
was.
Yeah, no.
You hit your quota that month?
Right.
I must have.
Hey, you missed the bonus check.
We need
Always-
we need
always.
like a sarcasm horn to go off.
Oh,
Sarcasm. So, to kind of rein this back in from the...
I'm sorry to change the topic. I didn't mean to do that. I just was going by what my heart was telling me.
Fair enough.
As small as it is.
It is.
Spoke to it.
Are you the Grinch, Scott?
No, I'm not the Grinch.
Okay.
I just got some weird news. not news, but never. It has nothing to do with the show. Somebody's performing next Sunday, and they put a whole invite out, so it's gross.
Perfect. All
You
right.
know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
We don't need any of those live shows.
To get back on track.
Sweet emotion.
To get back on track, as we have veered way off track.
Did we?
Scott, and Jerry, I want to come back to you, but since you came from a slightly different background of it, when you were involved, were you involved in a specific church, or were you just kind of like did you go to one church growing up, or was it?
Yeah, I went to Immaculate Conception, so I'm just going to give my quick story because that's a topic, and I'm sorry, Tyler, to get sidetracked. I really am. I mean, I'm serious. I really am. Yes, I went to a Catholic church. I was growing up baptized Catholic, and I was involved in the youth group because it was something fun to do. Maybe somebody had a crush on. I was going there, whatever reason I don't know. But how did I get here? When I was thinking about that, when you were doing your intro, going, "Gosh, how did I get here?" I think I just grew up. I think that happens to a lot of people where they just grow up. They start thinking about this stuff like, well, if you have kids in the room, cover their ears. Okay, if Santa Claus isn't real, why is this?
Oh, that's a good one. That's such a good one.
Well, it's such a generic one, but
Well, it's a generic one, but
then you start
It's
going down the line of, okay, if Santa Claus isn't real, then why is this? If Easter Bunny and stuff like that, like, okay, then why are people holding on to this one thing that they know isn't real? It's just, it's a nice pillow. It's that nice comfort blanket. I think that's all it is, and that's all they have to hold on to. I don't want to say that a lot of these people's beliefs are genuine, sorry, or whatever you want to pronounce it. You know, like the hardcore evangelicals, are they in the category of I'm really holding on to the blanket, or they're like my parents who are like I'm kind of holding on to the blanket? You know, does that make sense to anybody?
sure, you're kind of talking about the we'll just use Christians since we're on that topic.
That's fine.
The Christians that go to church every single Sunday and the ones that only show up for Easter and Christmas.
And it's add an addition to that, the Christians that go to every single Sunday and on Tuesdays and on the Bible study Wednesdays or whatever it is.
Right.
You know,
and they're a part of the choir, and
and that's the next over from the every Sunday Christian.
Sure.
You know. So that's I don't know, that's kind of like I don't want to say
I
that's my rant
refuse to
yet.
believe that there's no Santa Claus.
Jared, there's no Santa Claus. I'm sorry.
I don't believe you.
Well,
I mean, every Christmas I wake up and there's presents under my tree that weren't there when I went to bed the night before.
We just passed St. Patrick's Day. How many leprechauns did you see?
that's when
I wore a green shirt and tie to work yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, the
that
day
was 2
before.
days ago.
Yeah.
Whatever day that was.
Whatever day it was.
Scott,
Yeah.
when you were involved in the church and doing all this stuff and before you compared Jesus to Santa Claus,
I just had a thought.
Like
but
Trey
quick
Parker
question.
and Matt Stone did.
before the Imaginary Land? Is that what you're talking about? On South Park? Okay, sorry.
Oh no, South Park, when Jesus and Santa, didn't they get in a fight? I don't remember that.
Probably.
Well, yeah, but there was also
What are you doing?
Both are off track.
somebody watching this is gonna know there was like a 2 or 3 part South
They
Park
got that
episode
far?
about Imaginary Land, and Jesus was the head of Imaginary Land. Like there was Santa Claus, there's the Easter Bunny, there's all those characters, and yeah, Jesus was the one in charge, I guess.
I'll have to look
But
that.
anyway, yes, very off topic. Scott, when you were involved in the church and you were involved in all this stuff, did you feel, how do I want to phrase this? Yeah, I guess a not a sense of relief, but a sense of contentment. At the time, knowing that you were gonna go to heaven and there was gonna be this afterlife and all of this kind of. I mean, was that something that went through your mind while you were in it?
Maybe a little bit. I'll tell an embarrassing story in a sense. I remember the youth pastor guy, him and I drove to Sunshine together, and oh shoot, I'm gonna feel so embarrassed. So I'm the eldest of the group, just so you know, and I used to be I used to be a fan of Michael Bolton.
Real quick, not to change the subject, but when Michael Bolton released the one CD or the one album, it was his very last one where he had long hair and then he cut the hair off and he had the short hair.
Oh, yeah.
I used to work at the Wall, which is now FYE. I used to work at the Wall, and all these ladies would come in. Do you have the new Michael Bolton album? I said, you know what? I said, here you go. But I think he should have cut the rest of his head off with his hair.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow.
How does he get a recording contract, but I don't? Anyway, go ahead.
I don't remember. Anyway, so I remember I got ridiculed a little bit, like, oh, the lyric content of this guy is just awful. Like, listen to Michael W. Smith, which I love Michael W. Smith, but I have no idea what was I content? Maybe a little bit. I think I wanted to fit in. I think that the reason that people join youth groups is not that they're misfits at all, but they just kind of want to fit into something. They want to belong to something, and that was something to belong to at the time, where it wasn't you're involved in this group, in this group. You know, you're not the jocks, you're not the cheerleaders, you're not the band people, you're not the choir people, or you're not the nobodies. And I don't mean nobodies by negative term at all. You're not categorized. You're just there as a phantom. So it was fun, I guess, playing soccer and stuff like that. So this gets to the point where, sadly, this is maybe turning into a longer episode than we thought we would have, of how do we get here. So I'm going to sum it up real quick. After high school, I kind of forgot about the stuff. I was involved in other things, other bigger things that took a lot of my time in college. And as I kind of grew and I got married, my wife at the time, she didn't believe, and I really didn't believe either. Wasn't sure, and she was pretty smart and had some good questions. And, then that marriage ended. And then I was pretty much convinced that I don't believe in this stuff. And even when I went through tough times, really tough times, I don't believe in this stuff because what God in their right mind would allow somebody to give somebody so much free will to go through this bad stuff. And then I went through a point that I never told you, Tyler, that I did question it for a little bit. And that's when I met my wife that I have now. I remember the first few months of her and I dating and going, there's got to be something out there, because she absolutely saved me. She absolutely saved my life. And it wasn't the saving that where here, I'm going to give you the keys of the kingdom. It was here, you're better than what you think you are. And I believe in you, and I'm going to help you and show you how better you are than you think you are. So for a time, I thought that maybe, but then you kind of quickly think about no, it's not just a maybe. It's a no, because you took a shot and you're lucky enough to find somebody to believe in you as much as she does, who's upstairs right now. That's not a God. That is just her. And what are we doing here? We're living for the people that we care about. We're living for the people that we love. And that's kind of how I got here. Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of go off on a semi non-swearing rant, but I wanted to kind of get that in because that's the focus of the topic right now.
Well, I don't think it was getting off on a rant by any means.
And maybe not a rant, but I wanted to get back on topic, and I wanted to spill all this out. And there's so much more I could say, but I know that we're pressing on time, so we're not. But you know what I'm saying.
Why do you always worry about time?
Well, I mean, because if we get into this, it's going to be a 3-hour episode, and that's fine. That's a lot of editing for Tyler to do. And I care. I know. I mean, I care. I mean,
You don't care.
I do. No, I do care. I do care. But why are we here? Because we're here to we'll live the best lives we possibly can. At the end of the day, if we're on our deathbed and we're thinking, here we're going to think the same. We're going to say the same phrase, but think different things. Oh my gosh, what have I done? And it's just gonna be like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Like, how cool is that? Or
party over here,
yeah, and
party over there.
and it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I have no regrets of my life. I've lived a fantastic life. I don't like roller coasters, but man, this is fun riding it. And I'm not done. Sorry, go ahead. I'll mute for a while.
You're fine.
Then he can't hear us talk about him.
Right.
This is kind of exactly where I wanted to go with it, just because we come from our different experiences, and Jerry, I want to get your side of it now as well. Being that, and again, I'm not gonna go on a lot, as long as Scott did, because I'm basically, a lot of my experience growing up mirrors Scott in a lot of ways. I mean, it was, I mean, I went to a Lutheran church instead, but growing up, and I've kind of gone into this a little bit, my dad was much more right wing and went to, he was born again, and very, very different from the Lutheran experience. But I was also involved in the youth groups, and I was for what was it? Oh, confirmation. Mm-hmm. After I was confirmed, I think, gosh, was that 10th grade? I don't even remember. It was either 9th or 10th grade.
It's 8th grade. It's 8th grade. And that's for Catholic Church. Confirmation is Catholic.
Yeah,
Lutheran may be different.
Yeah,
Jerry?
Yeah, I was around 13. But I didn't go to like Catholic school or anything.
Oh, okay.
I was in catechism classes, but
any fans
I was around
watching,
12 or 13.
Let us know.
Tim, if you're watching, you went through confirmation with me. We were in the same confirmation class, so maybe
Tim from Farmington?
Not Tim from Farmington. Tim from Laconia.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim. Does he watch?
Yeah, I got him to watch.
Our friend Tim?
Yes, our friend Tim.
Our friend Tim watches. High five!
Yeah. Wait, Jerry,
you don't know Tim.
No.
He's my friend too.
High five back.
He's everybody's friend. But anyway, and so then after I was confirmed, I then was a mentor for younger kids that were coming up through confirmation class and all that. And I worked directly with our youth director to organize a lot of different events and all of that kind of stuff. And I was very much into Michael W. Smith, as well as, and that's another.
Oh wait, I can't do that.
Yeah. The whole the music and all of that being such a powerful instrument. I think we could maybe wrap that episode or into child indoctrination. But in any case, so yeah, I went through a lot of that, and then, like you said, Scott, I think I just started growing up, and I started to question a lot of things, and if Santa's not real, all the stuff that you said, I went through so much of that, and it changed very, very quickly in my life to not believing anymore. But Jerry, I wanted to get back to you because unlike us, you've never really been in
Well, he's in
the
CCD.
what?
CCD.
Once a
CC.
week. I mean,
Okay.
it's not like I went to like 8
Well,
hours every day school.
right, no, but
Okay.
I'm going back to my question earlier when I was asking whether or not you've ever really felt like there was something else. And I don't know, Scott, maybe you felt this way, but for a long while I was growing up and while I was going to church, I felt like there was something after this, and that provided a certain sense of, I guess, relief or comfort in just knowing that there was going to be something after this. And Jerry, what I gathered from your answer earlier is that you've never really had that feeling from religion providing that for you.
Yeah, I never did. But let me just say that for 57 years old, Michael W. Smith is kind of cute.
Is he 57? I think he's older than that.
That's what Wikipedia says. He was born in 57.
Oh, look at you just own it.
Right?
I had to go Google this guy and see who he was. You
Oh,
both
he's got great, he's got great freaking music, man. I'll tell you, I
There's
loved his
no
stuff.
way he's straight either.
Yeah, he's got some Metro going.
He's not married.
Yeah, he is.
Not married or divorced. Not according to Wikipedia.
That's all right.
Usually they list anyway, but not to get off topic or anything. I mean,
Oh, we're way off topic.
but yeah, no, I never, like I said, I never felt that connection with faith or anything like that. I I'm kind of a person that you got to show me for me to believe it.
Well,
You know,
yeah, I think we're all like that. With a lot of things. What do you mean? Show you to believe what? The music part of it?
anything. Show me. You got to show me if you want me to believe. If you want me to believe that you have $100 in your pocket and you're not going to show me, I'm not going to believe you.
I have my wallet on me, and I don't have $100 in my pocket. So
I have 2 expired credit cards in my pocket. Does that account for anything?
I think I have some fuzz in my pocket. I don't know. I mean, but
I have
it's
2
just like
expired condoms in my pocket.
it's like I couldn't.
No, I don't.
I couldn't get there. I tried. I mean, I know you guys said you went to the youth
And that's
groups. That
fine.
was your way of trying. I tried. I remember when I was, I don't know, like 11 years old, and it was me and my dad, and we were living in this apartment, and next door there was a family that was really, they were really devout, and I was alone a lot, so they kind of looked after me, and they took me places with them to friends' houses, and they I don't recall them ever taking me to church or anything, but they talked about it a lot. And I think the husband and I, like, at one time or another, he wanted to tutor me and give me lessons and try to lead me to that path. And even at 11, I couldn't, I listened, and I always listen with an open mind. I mean, I don't ever shut anything off unless my husband's just being stupid sometimes. I mean, you know how they get, like, come on now, I'm right, you're wrong, just let it go. But, I never shut my mind off to any possibility. After that, there was a time I was like probably like 13, and there was a little group that one of the kids in the apartment complex that we lived in went to, that they took me to. It was like a once a week thing on I think a Tuesday night or whatever. I went a couple of times, and I just couldn't. I couldn't connect. I can't connect. I don't know why. I can't. So
That's great.
I never, and to answer the big question, why are we here? Like, I mean, it's just, it, I don't know that there is an answer. Like I said earlier, I think it's just, the Earth's way of testing out to see which species it can live in harmony with.
Okay.
Not to
Yeah.
sound like a broken record or anything.
No.
Does that answer your question, Tyler? I mean, does that get
Yeah, and there's absolutely
what you're
no
for?
there's no wrong answer in this. It's I wanted to just kind of get a little more of
In depth.
in depth and get our
Like
backstories
to
without
who we
having
are.
an official about me episode type of
Right.
a thing, and it's something that I don't want to say, since internally coming to the conclusion that I'm an atheist and I don't believe in a higher power. I don't want to say I've struggled with it, but it's been one of those things that has come up more than once for sure, where I get into this mode of thinking of why are we here, and what is there an overall purpose, or are we just a freak accident floating on a rock in space? A space-time experiment, like you would say, Jerry. The Earth experimenting to figure out what species it can live with and stuff like that. And I totally agree. There have been so many species that have come and gone. There's a large part of me that would like to think, whether it's a millennia from now or 10,000 years from now, that if nothing else, a segment of what we currently have might still be living on, even if it's in caves underground or some sort of I don't know, post-apocalyptic movie or something like that, and not because of a rapture and somebody sending souls to hell and sucking people up to heaven and things like that, but because of something man-made, or because of a global catastrophe, or a meteor striking, or a nuclear winter. I mean, whatever it might happen to be, and it just, for me, I don't understand why, for every single being on this planet that is here for such a small, finite amount of time, why can't we just get along? It just boggles my mind. And this could be a whole other thing. And it was a part of what I talked about in our email chain today, that it. Why do we have all these petty arguments over religion, and why are people blowing themselves up in the name of their god, and things like that? And again, I don't want to get off topic, but that's where this came from.
Yeah.
Why are we here if the goal is to strap a bomb on our chest in the name of our supernatural being, and then not be here anymore and take other people with you? It just doesn't, that doesn't make any sense to me. And the Christian's argument on the other side of it is, well, why would you want to believe that there's nothing after this? Wouldn't you like to believe that there's something after this, and that life will continue to go on after your physical form is dead and gone? And my answer is yes. I would love to believe that, but I can't. Like you said, Jerry, I can't bring myself to do it, and it took me a lot longer in life to get to that point. I mean, you've just kind of always been that way, and it took me until I was a late teen in order to kind of come to that conclusion. And and get where I am today. So I don't know. That was a bit of a ramble. I told you guys I'm sick. You're supposed to cut me off.
No, I
Sorry.
mean you gotta
No,
talk.
I'm trying something new. I'm trying to not cut off. Is what I'm trying to do.
What do you think, Scott? As Michael W. Smith said one time, love one another,
Mm-hmm.
love one another.
Let's keep that going for a while. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. They click stop on their YouTube right now. Thanks.
What?
Right when I went on, right when I was about to talk. Um,
What?
Gosh, life is so weird. Life is, like, it's that whole cliche of life is as good as what you make of it, and you kind of create your own path. Sure, there's roadblocks that are put in your way, but who put them there? It was either you or the person that you're pointing the finger at. We all, for the most part, have pretty good lives, and we're very, very thankful. Um, how did we get here? We got here because we decided on our own free will to make the good lives that we have for ourselves. Sure, there were things that came up that were a little bit of a roadblock, but we got through it. And I'm going to speak personally, those roadblocks that happened to me, nobody put them in front of me. I put them in front of me. And I made excuses for them until I took a chance, and I'm going to make myself better. Did I have help? Yeah. Do I have some of the best friends in the entire world? Absolutely, yes. And those people didn't pick me up necessarily. They pointed me in the right direction. And those are the people that I live for today. My wife, Elsa, that's who I live for today. And my child, Gavin, that's who I live for today. Because when I am dead and buried, they have to carry on without me. And if I'm not a good example for them, or him, I should say, then what am I living for? Um, I, I'm going to say something that's going to be really tough. I was over at my in-laws' house last weekend, and I was watching my father-in-law and my brother-in-law converse, or father and son, and having a grand old time. And I took their motorcycles out with with Elsa's brother. And later that night, Elsa and I were sitting at home, and she said to me, "Are you jealous of my dad and brother for the relationship that they have because you don't have that with your dad?" And I said, "No, I love that relationship between your dad and your brother because that's the relationship that I have with my son. Why are we here? Because we're here for our children. We're here for the people we care about." That's all I have to say of why I'm here. I'm here for the people that I love and care about. So that's it.
Jerry?
Thank you.
Um, as I just want to quote one of my favorite people in the entire world. When we're free to love anyone we choose, when this world's big enough for all different views, when we all can worship from our own kind of pew, then we shall be free. Thank you, Garth Brooks.
Oh, that's a good song.
The whole song, every lyric in that song, but
Oh,
I think
what's the first line of that song?
this ain't coming from no
Prophet.
prophet.
Oh
Just
yeah,
an ordinary man.
I love that song. That's a good song.
I officially have no idea what you guys are talking about.
We're talking about Garth Brooks.
All right, guys. Well, we can cover a lot more of this in future episodes, but I want to thank you guys for your input tonight and kind of going with the flow of just getting some stuff out there and not being afraid to censor yourself in terms of
how we
what you wanna
feel,
say.
not how we speak, Scott.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. The feelings inside of you. So, thank you guys for tuning in for this week's episode of Positively Godless, and I hope you have a great rest of the week.
Woohoo! Goodbye.
Thank you for watching Positively Godless. Look at the links below or in the screen or wherever they are. And talk to us. Bye.
Stupid.
What?
That was awful.
It's still recording.
Why are we here?
I told you I'm so out of it. I'm so drugged up right now.
This week on Positively Godless, episode number 5.
Oh,
We're going to talk about why are we here? What are we doing here? What? Oh, wait, that's not the intro. That's supposed to be the episode. Never mind.
Now
Hey,
he
can
looks
you
like
just give me
something
50
about Mary.
to shower.
You got this
oh my
big
god.
That's why he was rushing you, Tyler.
There's our blooper. There wasn't supposed to be a blooper.
Oh my god.
There you go. Ready, guys? Ready?
You're putting product in your hair at 8:30 at night.
Yeah, because I got to do a internet TV show. I got to look good.